Alright, these are the Corsair Voids wireless headset. Corsair Voids, whatever you want to refer to that as. They have a cloth finish on this. Probably the cheapest feeling of the bunch as far as that goes. So let's, well, before I get ahead of myself, so Corsair is a California-based company. They're known for making memory probably most predominantly. However, they eventually broke out into the liquid cooling market, case building, all of that. I've been a fan of them for years actually, so I want to disclose that up front that I definitely am a Corsair fanboy for many of their products. Although the good part is it didn't color my review on this, as you'll see in a second. So the setup experience was very nice. Software was super easy to install. They do have their own software suite. Ran into zero issues with installing it on Windows 10. Yeah, can't say much more about that. The software itself is pretty easy to use. I do have a more detailed review of that later on. Comfort. These, I don't know whose ears these are made for. I don't know if you could see the shape of that cup. It's a weird design. It almost is shaped like a human ear. However, it's shaped the wrong way. It's like they put it in upside down. If these were flipped the other way, they would be more comfortable. In fact, they are more comfortable flipped upside down. I don't know what happened. I really am convinced that Corsair may have built these upside down and just went with it because it is so ridiculously loose on my head and just does not feel right. This extra cupping in the bottom, I guess, is for your earlobes, but I don't know why you would ever need that. The tops of your ears are what would be more uncomfortable than anything else. They also never really snug up against my head. So they just don't feel right. They never felt right when I was playing with them. You know, I move my head at all, they fall right off. I could never adjust them right where I need them. They do have some spots for adjustment, so there are some numbers on here to adjust them, which is nice, but again, it doesn't seem to make a difference, so I'm not sure why that matters. Really itchy and uncomfortable fabric after long periods of time. The top of the head actually feels quite nice with this, so I don't want to criticize that too much. The foam is nice and the fabric doesn't bother me as much on the top of my head, and you'd think it would because I do have a shaved head, so I feel that kind of stuff more than maybe others who have a full head of hair. These side cups though, really itchy, just very uncomfortable. Didn't like them. Just too bad. Movies and sound quality. Actually, similar to the Logitech sound. I have some notes in here that I actually almost thought they might be sourcing the same drivers. Afterwards, I figured out that they actually are different size drivers, so I don't think that's the case, but they sound very similar. Sound range was very similar, very comparable, good solid bass and treble. The sound that comes out of these actually is not a complaint at all, so it's too bad that they have problems with the other things. The feel of these is also very cheap. I don't feel like these are going to break easily necessarily, but there's a lot of creaking going on here and a lot of movement that doesn't feel intentional. So they feel cheap, and I'm not sure how much they would hold up to any major abuse. They also only attach at one point on the cups, whereas many others have a 2-point attachment. I think that's a more secure way of doing it, and that might be why they don't feel quite right. The other thing is they don't quite sit well in my chest. Like, even if I pull them all the way out, the boom is hitting me in the neck, and this bottom part, again, these bottom parts hitting me in the neck. It really feels like these are built upside down. I don't know what's going on with these. Max volume was good. You turn at max volume on these, it got to the point it was very uncomfortable on many sources, so I'm not too concerned about the max volume at all. So they only have USB input. That can be a problem if you ever wanted to dual purpose any of these for a console. Otherwise, if you're primarily a PC gamer like me, not an issue. The software suite probably depends on that USB driver, which is probably part of the reason that they did all of that. Almost zero sound isolation. You put these on, you're hearing everything. Everyone's hearing what you're hearing. That's just how it is. The surround was good. again, the software suite actually probably did better than, I think it did better than Logitech on the software to do surround sound, virtual surround. That being said, I would still recommend using something like Razer Surround for this, because a lot of these software suites are still using 2 inputs, whereas Razer uses 7 to give you a little bit better processing on that virtual surround. So yeah, it was okay. It was good. The right and left channels are very defined, so that helps a lot. Again, software positional audio will have its own video. Support was good. Registration was required though. It was okay over email. Sorry, when I say good support, I say quality of support. The response times weren't great, so I tried to call them up on the phone. They didn't answer. Well, the line would cut out. It would say, "Welcome to Corsair," and then drop the line. I tried calling 3 times in a row, didn't work. Sorry, Corsair, you had your chance. That is a huge downside on support. I've never had that bad of experience with Corsair before. I've used their support before and had great experiences, actually, where they've even replaced products with upgrades because they didn't have a equivalent in stock. So that was a very disappointing experience with them. Not sure what's going on. Must have had an off day or something, but still has to be reported. 3 business day turnaround on their support ticket site. Not great, not unusable, but not great. That was a little bit disappointing as well. Now, that being said, all this has to be put in the frame of these are by far the cheapest headphones of this roundup. To be specific, I was able to get these for $75. That is insane. I really wish it didn't have some of these game-breaking things for me. I'm being nice to these as well, because maybe somebody else's ears and head out there works perfectly with these. I refuse to believe they didn't model this on an actual human before they built them. So maybe somebody out there, these will fit perfectly. And if they do, this is a heck of a headset for $75. The mic was good. Sorry, I didn't go much into that, but the boom is cheap. It's hard to get out here, and the lighting on this doesn't work well because the mute light is on the opposite side. Again, Corsair, did you have anybody try this before you built it? But the mic sounds fine. It really doesn't have any major issues. So you'll see that more in detail on there, but I should have mentioned that in the comfort section. So anyway, pros and cons and my rating. It's good. It's the cheapest and incredible quality sound for the price. It's got some really interesting ideas behind this lighting on the mic, like the mute, but it also has like a low battery light. It has some lights that can kind of tell you the battery level on here, which is an interesting idea, poorly executed. I did like that there's an option to put voice feedback on here, like when you mute. So lifting the boom does not mute on this. There is a mute button below the power button over here. It works okay, but it wasn't great. It also, the volume button makes a lot of noise when you do it in here, as well as the power button. Like it's a lot of sound comes in through here, which isn't great. It was really, again, a loose fit on my head, no other inputs, etc. The battery life was good. So about 21 hours of battery life, actually, if you turn off the lights. Best of any of them. Again, for $75. Corsair, why did you make these weird decisions with comfort on this? It could have been an amazing headset for this price. So yeah, it's so close, but so far on some of these things, right? It only took about 4 hours to charge that too, so that's too bad. The wireless also on these was really good. Reached all corners of my house, a little bit outside. It was awesome. It's as much as I could hope for with wireless. So cut out once in a while in some of the most extreme reaches, but came immediately back. So you'd be fine to keep the gist of the conversation and everything still. Yeah, so 2-year warranty, and yeah, I wish there was some way to enable or disable the surround sound on the headset. It sometimes created a weird echoey sound on things, and so I really wish I could easily turn that off and on. You'll see that in more detail in the review. So I give this a 2 out of 4 stars. This is also a meh on the rating because of the fit. The fit was just so inferior to everyone else. I just couldn't do it. It's something weird about how they built these. It just doesn't work as well. So yeah, inferior fit. kind of killed this one for me. It may fit better for others, so I don't think it's complete garbage, but I don't recommend buying it for people that have the same fit as I do. Oh, and one more note, this does use micro USB to charge.